Fentanyl must really be something. So many people give up everything that brings joy in life for it. Their family, their belongings, their goals, their homes, pride, and even life itself. But truthfully, fentanyl is just low-quality heroin. Worse in every way except one. It's ideal for drug traffickers. And even though we constantly hear how lethal it is, a lot of its victims weren't even addicted to it. It's genuinely the most foolish drug to throw your life away for. Let's understand what fentanyl does to you, what the experience is like, and why it's significantly less appealing than heroin. Arguably, the two most vital forces keeping us alive are pain and pleasure. And maybe coffee. Pain is perhaps the most intense bodily sensation, like claws tearing skin, a bone snapping, or stepping on a Lego, or the soul-crushing sting of rejection. Like when your dog prefers someone else. Pain is terrifying and unbearable at times. It's the body's strongest warning signal against danger. Scene 2. The nature of pleasure. Pleasure, on the other hand, is what makes life enjoyable. It's satisfying. From eating sweets or fatty foods to sex or opening another card pack with your friends. Anything that triggers joy makes you crave a repeat. These two forces, pain and pleasure, steer our existence. Pain yells, "Stop! This is bad!" Pleasure cheers, "More of this, please." But even though they are opposites, they are deeply connected. Sometimes your body needs to reduce pain and produce joy at once. For example, after childbirth, pain is numbed and the mother is flooded with feel-good hormones so she can connect with her baby. During a tough hunt, the hunter forgets fatigue and injury. Both situations aren't pleasant, but they're essential to survival. Nature came up with a potent way to manage this: the opioid receptor. It's like a lock on nerve cells that handle pleasure and pain. When triggered, it lessens both pain and your concern about it, while also delivering joy and euphoria. We won't dive into the scientific weeds here. You just need to know this: any substance that fits into that receptor is called an opioid. These opioids are very powerful. So when your body releases its own opioids, like endorphins from laughing, it only sends out a tiny amount, and only where it's needed. This means the effects are soft and specific. Your twisted ankle eases up, a painful thought fades, or you feel a rush of joy seeing an old friend. Alright, now let's get into the drug part. Humans, throughout history, discovered natural opioids like morphine, and, well, they fell in love with them. These substances were refined into various drugs, which were used in hospitals to help those in severe pain. Now think of codeine, OxyContin, Vicodin, and of course heroin, and the worst of them all, fentanyl. Before explaining why fentanyl is the worst of the bunch, let's do something engaging. Let's pretend to inject heroin. Ready? You're hit with a burst of bliss. Heroin surges through your system and switches on every opioid receptor it meets. Everything starts happening at once. An orchestra of overwhelming feelings erupts. Every cell that manages happiness is now on overdrive. With nothing holding them back, a flood of feel-good chemicals takes over and you're drenched in delight. Coffee becomes liquid joy, a song turns into cosmic beauty, a hug feels like pure love from the universe. Any pain, physical or emotional, whether from injuries, cramps, loneliness, or self-hatred, is erased. You literally can't feel or care about pain anymore. Like dimming lights in a cozy room, your brain's alert systems go quiet. You feel safe, warm, and deeply at peace. All your tension fades into a dreamy calm, you stop worrying, even your organs slow down, your breathing eases, your stomach relaxes. Your chest rises and falls gently like ocean waves. You're floating in a sea of peace and happiness. It feels eternal. The first strong hit of heroin is among the most incredible feelings a human can have. For a few hours you feel like you're in paradise. And that's the problem. Your brain isn't made to handle something that intense, it feels too good. But it doesn't last, and that's dangerous. You just had the most incredible experience of your life. Your brain's reward system is overloaded and can't make sense of it. It assumes something this good must be vital for survival, so it pushes you to repeat it. But the twist? You'll never feel that good again. That first time will always be your highest peak. You might spend your life chasing that feeling. And then, you're back in reality, with aches, average coffee, and the need to earn your happiness the hard way. Now you're stuck comparing real life to that euphoric explosion, and this contrast can shatter your view of life and self, maybe permanently. And it gets worse. Opioids are insanely addictive, and this kind of addiction is among the worst. Next comes the explosion of pain. After just a few doses, your brain adapts. The cells managing pain and pleasure become constantly overwhelmed and sluggish. So your brain overcorrects, making them overly active. This shift can happen within days. Now you're tolerant, the enjoyable effects dull, and you need more of the drug to feel anything. You face a decision: stop now and slowly return to normal, or keep going and take more. You choose wrong. Over the coming weeks, your brain fights back harder, so you increase your dose. The high isn't what it was, but it's still better than nothing. Until one day you don't have the drug, and now your own body becomes the enemy. Everything becomes hyperactive, creating the exact opposite of what the drug once gave you. Welcome to withdrawal. It begins with unease. Joy is gone, coffee tastes like nothing, music is boring, loved ones feel distant. Peace is shattered by dread and anxiety. It feels like something awful is looming. All your worries, doubts, and fears come back, not just as before, but louder, meaner, and heavier. You can't sit still. Your heart pounds. You shiver, sweat, gasp for breath. Your pain receptors are on edge. Your muscles and bones hurt for no reason. Old injuries and traumas torment you again. You cramp, you vomit, you can't sleep. You're trapped in a battle within yourself. And then there's the overwhelming craving. Your body screams for relief. Your mind begs for one more hit. You could endure this for up to 2 weeks, or just make it stop instantly. So why not just keep using heroin forever, because it doesn't work like that. Scene 2, the tolerance imbalance. You build tolerance to the pleasure much faster than to the dangerous side effects, like slowed breathing. Scene 3, the fading highs. So the highs fade and you're left with drowsiness and escaping withdrawal. You no longer take opioids to reach bliss. You take them to avoid agony. You're trapped in your own body and mind, disconnected from real joy. Opioid addiction is vicious and very difficult to overcome, so be cautious with any opioids, and if you're ever tempted to use them recreationally, just don't. There's a real chance your life could end, or you could be dragged through hell. Now that we've seen heroin's heaven and hell, let's talk about fentanyl, the worst version. Fentanyl is low-grade heroin. All the bad effects of opioids apply here too. They can be incredible, or total hell. Heroin was considered the strongest, but it's not. Fentanyl is roughly 50 times more potent than heroin, but that doesn't mean it's 50 times better. Actually, it's the opposite. Fentanyl easily crosses into the brain, passing through its protective barriers almost instantly. You go from sober to high in moments, but just as fast as it hits, it disappears. A heroin high might last 6 hours, fentanyl, just minutes. And it doesn't feel as great either. Rather than an explosion of joy, it mostly makes you drift off into nothingness, with full-blown withdrawal right after. Plus, because it hits the brain so fast, it burns out your reward system even worse, making it even more addictive than heroin. And since only a tiny dose is needed, it's frighteningly easy to overdose. It's the deadliest illegal drug in US history. Between 2013 and 2023, around 400,000 Americans died from it. Fentanyl truly is garbage heroin, too deadly, too intense, too addicting, and barely any pleasure. But then, why are so many using it? The truth? Most people aren't choosing fentanyl. Fentanyl isn't made for users, it's made for sellers. The house always wins. Fentanyl is the perfect product for dealers. A single truckload could supply the entire United States for a year. It's cheap to produce and easy to smuggle. Heroin requires poppy fields and space. Fentanyl took over the heroin market. At first it may have seemed like a win for addicts, but then the trap snapped shut. Thanks for exploring science with us, one shift at a time. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Stay curious and keep shifting your